Our next guest is a very funny comedian and actor you know from films like Trainwreck and Don't Think Twice, as well as the Showtime series Billions. His Broadway show, it's fantastic. The Old Man in the Pool is playing at the Vivian Beaumont Theater with an additional 2-week extension of its run. Please welcome back to the show our friend Mike Birbiglia.
So good to see you.
It's so good to see you. I saw you last night. My mom and I came and saw your show, and it was fantastic.
Thank you so much. It's been such a blast, and I insisted on taking a photo.
Yeah.
With your mom.
You did, yeah.
I was sort of the Patty of the scenario.
Yeah, you.
And the Bruce.
You were the Patty.
I was the Patty and the Bruce.
Yeah, it's weird because again, we just showed this, right?
Right.
You sure you want me to show it?
Yeah, I think it's.
All right.
I mean, she's pretty happy. No, she's happy. She's happy. No, that's her.
We got it at a wrong moment.
Yeah, but it's side. Look at the side by side. I mean,
it's like you can't tell her apart. You also, so you've been doing shows like this for a long time, and
yeah.
I have been coming to them for a long time and enjoying them
Forever.
a great deal.
Yeah.
And I did not realize you found photos of me from 10 years ago at the premiere.
I did this thing. So my first show was Sleepwalk with Me. My second one was My Girlfriend's Boyfriend. And I dug this one up from the My Girlfriend's Boyfriend premiere.
Yeah.
I put in Seth's name into my photos program, and what showed up was this.
This is me, I guess, waiting in line for the bathroom.
Yep, waiting in line for the bathroom. These are real.
These are
2011.
real photos. I like why did you take a picture of me waiting in line?
No, I just have a million photos.
All right, this is me and my wife Alexi. We're at your show, and this is pretending to pay attention in the conversation. Yeah.
I'm
a dead giveaway.
Classic.
You can always tell when Seth's kind of not into it.
Hold on. Can I just do an impression? You want to leave the conversation.
This is a really, this is a triumphant. This was, opening night.
Yes, opening night of My Girlfriend's
Boyfriend. And this is just me and John Hodgman. We're so proud of you. And you just look great in this picture right there.
This is... and for some reason, the photo is taken behind the photographers. And you're just like teasing me and holding up my hands. This would never be used in any kind of magazine or anything. Who would ever use this photo?
This is the fact that you used it here is an incredible breakthrough.
This is...
also you, I obviously came to see your show. There were other people backstage last night who came to see your show. Paul Rudd came to see your show.
Oh, my God.
And you have some people have sort of mentioned that you might look a little like Paul Rudd.
All over the years, people go, you look like Paul Rudd. And then sometimes they dial it back and they go, you look like Paul Rudd. He's a little better looking. You know what I mean? And then they go like, he's better. And Ant-Man hasn't helped.
No.
You know what I mean? He's buff,
Yeah. It could have gone either way. You could have been Ant-Man.
Yeah. Could have been me, could have been him. And then a few years ago, I did my last show, which was called The New One at the Ahmanseed Theater in Los Angeles. And a reviewer came, and the reviewer wrote in the Los Angeles Times, if this becomes a film, it must star Paul Rudd. I'm an actor also. I make films also. A cursory look at my Wikipedia would tell you enough to know.
Yeah.
Maybe don't mention another person who's roughly the same age and does the same thing for the same. Anyway,
now, is this staged, this photo, or is this just proof of how much you look like Paul Rudd? Because look.
Isn't that nice?
That's really a great photo.
Our photographer, Emilio, did that, and it's a trick shot because I said to Paul, he came to the show, and I go, I get this comparison all the time, and I think it would be funny for my Instagram if I said, like, when I'm feeling down about myself, I imagine I'm Paul Rudd. And then he was like, yeah. And so we each stood in the same spot, and then we photoshopped.
It's very well done.
It's fun, right?
It's very well done.
Yeah.
So your show is so funny, which is what I've
Thanks.
come to expect from you. What's a little different is this show is about some serious bad health diagnoses you got from a doctor. So when you're going through that, because from the very first time you see a doctor in the telling of the show, you have very funny observations. Is that happening in real time? When you're getting bad news, are you also like, oh, but also that's going to be fun to talk about in this over here?
everything in my life all the time is like, oh, that could be good. You know what I mean? Like, when I fell down subway steps a few years ago, and I fell down subway, I broke my shoulder, I'm lying on the floor. People are blowing past me like, you need help? No? Good. You know what I mean? And you're laughing because you've been one of these pigs. And I want you pigs to know, we of the floor are aware you do not wish to help. But literally, I'm lying on the floor thinking, this could be pretty good material. You know what I mean? I'm always thinking that. And then with this show, I talk about like how I had type 2 diabetes, I had bladder cancer, I have a serious sleepwalking disorder. Sometimes I'm on stage, I am thinking like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. This guy's got it rough. And then I'm like, this guy's me. So yeah, no, it's kind of the inverse of that, where sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe have I revealed too much? But then ultimately, like, people come to the show, I talk about like the darkest things about my own experience, the saddest things. I make jokes of them. I talk about death, it's a lot about death. And people feel better afterwards. And like, it's honestly like performing all these years, my 5th show, it's the one that makes me feel like I'm doing a thing that's helping a little bit.
Yeah, I felt that way. I mean, it is again, I want to stress, it's very funny from start to finish, but there are moments where you talk to us honestly about when you were taking stock of your life, and I think it's a really helpful thing to be there listening to. I have more to ask you about, especially how the YMCA has responded to the show so far.
Oh, yes, the YMCA has not made a formal response, but yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll be right back with more from Mike Birbiglia.